Consociationalism democracy is a type of popularity democratic power sharing. Political specialists decipher a consortium state as an express that has huge inside divisions along ethnic, strict, or etymological lines, with none of the division adequately enormous to frame a greater path branch, yet which stays stable in view of arrangement among the gathering's elite. Agreement states are regularly recognized from states that have a greater path constituent framework. Other than that, one of the primary objectives of consociationalism is the security of government. The congruity of force-sharing plans, the coherence of majority rule system, and the anticipation of psychological oppression at the point when consociationalism is coordinated as per strict admission as in Lebanon, it is known as Polish skills. Consociationalism also is at times deciphered as closely resembling corporatism. A few researchers see consociationalism as a type of corporatism. Others guarantee that financial corporatism was intended to control class struggle, while consociationalism greatly dependent on accommodating the division of society along ethnic and strict lines. Meanwhile, in Malaysia, the public authority takes on an arrangement of parliamentary popular government with an established ruler. Aside from that, the head of state is His Majesty the Pertuan Agong. Parliament is the main foundation in a country that rehearses the standards of majority rule government. Last but not least, there are four characteristics, which is grand coalition, mutual veto, professionality, and segmental autonomy that has in consociationalism democracy in Malaysia.
Hello, my name is Hanwat Fatkushairi Minasni. So today I will talk about grand coalition. So, grand coalition means cooperation between the elite pillars of the party to form a government to govern a country, because if they are not united, it will be a danger for the party itself. For example, UMNO, BN, PAS, and Bersatu, and many more are working together to establish a government in Malaysia to govern the country together. Next, grand coalition in Malaysia. As we know, the longest ruling party in Malaysia is the United Malay National Organization, which is UMNO, which was established in 1946. This party is represented by the Malay and Bumiputras. UMNO is a very large party in Malaysia and one of the most influential party in Malaysia, because many of the greatest political figure in Malaysia represent this political party. For example, the first prime minister in Malaysia, which is Tunku Abdul Rahman, was one of the leader represent the UMNO party. Next, as we all know, Malaysia is a country with multi-racial, multi-culture, multi-religious population. So one of the way to unite all race to make Malaysia a peaceful country is with an alliance. For example, the National Front (BN) was established to unite the various race. The meaning of this is all race in Malaysia can represent the National Front (BN), unlike UMNO, which focus only for Malay and Bumiputras only. So the beginning of the pact between the party to form a government was when UMNO, BN, and PAS worked together to establish a government and govern the country together, despite different parties, idea, race, and religious. Therefore, with the agreement between several parties, it is possible for Malaysians to be closer to each other regardless of race and religious. So today, the Grand Coalition has taken place in Malaysia when the government is currently represented by various leaders from various parties. Among the party in the government today are the United Malay National Organization, UMNO, National Front, BN, Pan Malaysian Islamic Party, PAS, National Alliance PN, Malaysian United Engineers Party Bersatu, and there are several other leaders from different party. With this existence of the Grand Coalition today, we can see the line of leader who govern the country today come from different race, religions, culture, and language. So uh, this is the advantage that we can get from Grand Coalition in Malaysia. So the first one is we can unite the people of Malaysia even from different race, religions, culture, language. This is because people of other race than the Malay will not feel unfair because they will also have leader from their own race in the administration of the country. Next, in the term of national development, we will get many ideas from various leaders representing various party. As we know, each political party has their own vision and mission to make the country their rule continue to progress. Therefore, there are some of the advantage that can be obtained from the Grand Coalition that took place in Malaysia. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Kalfika Fikrina binti Kalsutira, and now I will talk about the next characteristic, that is mutual veto. Mutual veto is a characteristic of democratic power sharing, or also known as the concurrent majority. This is a situation that serves to protect the interests of minority groups in a country. Mutual veto protects in the interests of minority groups through proportionality in political representation, civil service appointments, and allocation of public funds. However, power sharing in Malaysia is so unique. For example, that we can see is the power sharing practiced by Perikatan and then by Barisan Nasional was somehow different. This is because the power sharing was strengthened by the spirit of social contract or accommodation. This was evident in the federal constitution, especially the section regarding national identity. The Constitution of Malaysia was developed through ethnic bargaining and accommodation between three communal parties, namely UMNO, MCA, and MCI. Since independence, Malaysia has strived hard to balance the diverse ethnic interests by adding those interests into the constitution. By so doing, the Malaysian constitution has always been a guideline for building the nation since the country gained independence. For an example, a government publication described the constitution as a binding agreement entered into by all ethnicities. Additionally, states that an essential function of the Constitution of Malaysia is that it comprises negotiate compromises and consensual agreements among various ethnicities, religious, and regional communities. Without such compromises, the Malaysian nation would experience political instability because the minority groups would feel left out in power sharing. However, the inclusion of minority groups not only fosters democracy but also promotes national unity. This enables the Malaysian population to live together in harmony regardless of their race, background, or religion. Nevertheless, the PH or Pakatan Harapan government somehow accepted the principles of consociationalism and social contract established by Perikatan and Barisan Nasional. However, the behavior and the statement of some leaders regarding Pakatan Harapan component parties made them look like they are against some of the principles. This could be a result of the ignorance of these Pakatan Harapan leaders on the principles. Also, the party was failing the Malay population because it had not taken any actions to correct these leaders. As a result, policies and programs by Pakatan Harapan that were created based on principle of the social contract was strongly opposed. This is because some people believe the policies to be racist and in violation of universal human rights. These criticisms affected most Malays and the Muslim community, especially those who support Pakatan Harapan in GE14. Because of PH's reluctance to address the criticisms, the coalition saw majority leaders withdraw from it. For example, that we can see is in 2020, Mahathir resigned as the Prime Minister.
Hello, my name is Kit Yuzek Sigoti, and now I am going to present my part, which is about proportionality. Proportionality indicates the size of parliamentary representatives is resulted from the population of the ethnic group. It also have been used in important meetings such as civil services. Other than that, proportionality is a very useful consociational device used by the government, such as Barisan Nasional, to differ proportions. Proportionality takes many efforts in the economic sphere, other than being involved in the distribution of cabinet jobs and election seats, such as government stability and avoidance of violence. On the next slide, it's about proportionality. On May 13th, the association can be said that they obeyed the concept of proportionality if the political and economic sphere are considered aligned together. The agreement was mentioned that the Chinese are able to dominate in the economic scale, while the Malays can dominate the political scale. After that, another economic change occurred since then due to UMNO's plan to improve the economic condition of the Malays condition by replacing the 1957 bargain or contract in the new economic policy and the new development policy. Next, the shares from the Malay from the commercial, industrial activities and management are confirmed to be 30%, while the non-Malay share are 40% and foreigners 30% respectively. These targets are mainly formed from the new economic policy. The Malays and non-Malays wants to view their wealth from the country's wealth, specifically because both groups tried their best to accomplish these targets. In the near end of the new economic policy days, the Malays managed to achieve 20.3% over the share of corporate wealth, while the non-Malays managed to achieve a whopping 46.2% and the foreigners 25.1%. In the new development policy, efforts are made to increase the Malay participation in the corporate sector have been long going by the government in alignment with the new economic policy target at least 30%. Now we move on to the last slide. The government has promised to pledge a revise of Bumiputera participation in the economy will be stated at the year 2000. The targets made by the government, the targets made by the new economic policy, which seems to be the principle of proportional at work, should be reviewed, that it seems like it is not the principle of proportionality which was being obeyed and followed by the alliance, which there was a trade-off between the rival groups. For example, the Chinese being able to dominate the economy while the Malays were able to dominate the political field. That is all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mutahid bin Saprin. My student number is 2020-338-249, and I will talk about segmental autonomy. Segmental autonomy definition is create a sense of individuality and allows different culturally based community laws. So the first point is segmental autonomy, which permit each key component to manage itself to some extent, usually around ethnicity, religion, or regional identity, such as constitutional protection for minorities' rights. Next is Malaysian politics. There's a leader who joined another party to strengthen the party and to achieve a common goal. An example of one of these parties is DAP. It consists of leaders of various races, religion, and ethnicity. But even they have goals, they cannot violate existing rules that cannot be changed. For example, is Islam is the official religion of Malaysia. After that, there was no equivalent deculturational among any of Malaysian major ethnic. For example, is the sensitive matters of races and religion cannot be touched by anyone in the Malaysia, and this tell the segmental autonomy is very important to Malaysia and make Malaysia united and continue to grow.
To conclude all of this, the primary objectives of constitutionalism are legislative security, the endurance of the power-sharing game plans, the endurance of popular government, and the evasion of savagery. Assuming if legislative security did not work, our government will be in danger position. So government settle our legislative framework. Other than that, power sharing is the need in vote-based system since it can help in diminishing the chance of contention between the gatherings of people. Since social clash regularly prompts viciousness and political pressuriousness, power sharing is a decent method for guaranteeing the soundness of political requests. At last, as a Malaysian, we trust that our government can give a valiant effort in constitutionalism, democracy, and didn't fail. Thank you.